You're listening to the Multiverse Fan Cast, proud member of the Misfit Faction Media Network.
All right, then. On with the show.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Multiverse Fan Cast. Don't forget, you can take us on the go with Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, Podbean, any other listening stations that you might listen to your podcast or music with. You can also check out our website, themisfitfaction.com, where you'll find articles, our merch store, and obviously our podcast, too. With me today in the studio, I have Paul. Paul, how you doing?
I'm good, Ronnie. How are you today?
I'm doing swell. Thank you, sir.
I was just admiring one of your sentences. Listening stations, whatever you listen to.
Yeah, wherever you listen to your podcast and music.
On your listening stations.
Exactly. And we have a special guest to kick off the new year. We have Sean.
Oh, wow.
How's it
Feels
going?
good to be back.
Yeah.
I like it.
Been a while.
Yeah. Well, I was
Right.
I was on Multiverse a couple times at the end of 2022.
Yeah.
Talking about that old Smallville TV show. But
Oh, yeah. Smallville Retro Review. That was a lot of
Smallville
fun.
Retro
Yeah.
Review, a lot of fun, but it's good to be back. Good to be back.
Awesome. So we have a little episode for you today. We're going to be kind of doing a 2022 review. So we're just going to talk about some of our likes and some of our dislikes from the past year.
I
when
hate
it comes
you.
Why?
I was about to say, Sean, you're my like. Ronnie's my dislike.
Guys, I'm talking about the movies and TV shows from this year.
Oh.
I mean, unless you guys saw my home video. I don't know.
Well done, sir.
I didn't even have to rewind it that much. No. Weird.
Yeah. So we're just going to kind of go through and talk about some of the movies and TV shows that we liked, and obviously some of the shows that we didn't like or movies. So we're going to get things started off. I think we can all agree probably the best piece of entertainment to come out from this year was The Batman.
Wow, you started swinging. You came out the gate swinging.
Am I wrong?
Oh, I just wasn't sure we were going number one of all time. Now,
Well, it's not all time.
of
Well,
this
not
year.
all time.
Of this year.
Of this year. Start off high and then work our way low. No.
There's
Just like every other episode.
There's a lot of lows, so we got to make sure we get to the low.
Exactly.
There's
yeah.
not that many highs, but there's a lot of lows.
Yes. But I think we kind of all agree that The Batman was the best out of everything that came out.
It had no right to be. It had no right to be as good as it was.
Yeah.
Why did it have no right?
Robert Pattinson. We all thought
We
it.
also said the same thing about every other actor cast in any superhero movie.
And
Yeah.
I said it, but I said it.
Yeah. So,
All right.
Yeah,
But-
you're
right.
right. But he was very good. I'd like to see more
Yes.
of him outside of the suit in terms of how
See,
they're
I
going to
was
do.
the opposite. I loved having him in the suit the
No,
entire movie.
what I want to say is I want to see how he pulls off Bruce Wayne. That's actually
the
talks
persona.
to people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not even my dad, Alfred. Let me brush the hair out of my face.
We don't want to see an emo Batman.
I liked emo Batman.
Yeah.
Actually, scratch that. I hated emo Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
I'll be honest.
Emo Bruce Wayne was bad.
But I agree. I think this was the hands down best comic book movie of the year
I would even put it in the top 10,
of all time.
possibly. It might have a spot. It depends on the sequel.
Yeah.
In all honesty, because sequels
That's
can,
going to be interesting to see. Is where
Yeah.
do they go with it?
yeah,
do
the
they-
sequels can make the previous movie better or worse.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Batman Begins. I remember seeing Batman Begins for the first time, going like, okay, it was good, wasn't great.
Mm-hmm.
Did the job.
Did the job. Then Dark Knight comes out, and then I rewatched Batman Begins, and I'm like, wow, that was really good.
Yeah.
Dark Knight made it so much better. Then Dark Knight Rises comes out, and you go like,
Oh.
still good. I can still watch it.
Oh, yeah.
But,
Yeah.
But yeah, then we'll see. We'll see where this goes.
Yeah. So I think, again, that's our consensus number one. So what we're going to do now is we're just going to kind of go back and forth with each other. And we'll
That
go.
sounds weird.
No, it doesn't. And we'll give one thing we didn't like. And then obviously we'll kind of discuss and we'll kind of go around the table. So, Paul, why don't you start us off? What was, in your eyes, one of the worst properties to come out this year, the past year of 2022?
So it's tough because worse in terms of disappointment or worse in terms of quality. Because if it's disappointment, it's going to be Thor: Love and Thunder.
Mm-hmm.
If it's going to be quality, it's going to be Morbius. Holy crap. Let's start with Morbius then, because, oh my God, what a dumpster fire, train wreck, domestic disturbance, violence thing that was.
Say how you really feel.
Oh my God. I've tried to watch it again.
Was there anything good about it?
The end credits. But I tried to watch it again, like, to be fair, right? Because Morbius was a movie that had a lot going into it and a lot during it, and the whole Sony thinking that people were actually serious about its Morbin time and re-releasing it, and just some things there were fine things in it, like one or two moments that are like decently cool. Like, I like, obviously everybody does the meme of the guy dancing. It's been a good year for dancing between him and Wednesday Addams, but there are some moments, right? It's in a movie that's just.
There's moments.
You
actually found a moment.
There's a handful of moments that I do enjoy in that movie, but oh my God, it did not know what it wanted to do. It did not know what kind of story it wanted to tell. It was too busy trying to play it safe by making Morbius a good guy. I would have much rather seen him just eviscerating people.
Yeah,
they could have done a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde story that would have been way more interesting.
Would have it been better if they introduced Morbius in another movie as a smaller character?
I think they could have, especially as a Blade character. Yeah. In the Blade movie, they could have introduced him as somebody who's like kind of in Aquaman. They had who's the guy who plays Jimmy, the Asian guy. He's really funny. Jimmy Woo in Ant-Man and the Wasp, he does the magic tricks. Yeah. But he was like that in Aquaman, where they set him up for the next movie. Yes. So I would have been totally fine if at the end of like a Blade movie, we have this blood sample from, whatever big event, they give it to Michael Morbius. I think that would have been much better.
Yeah. But would that have led to his own movie, or would it just...
I think it could have. Okay. And then a crossover between him and Blade, so I would have been about it.
You're more just saying, like, we would have preferred you introduce the character somewhere else instead of just throwing a movie at us.
They could have done the movie. Like, they really could. I think that movie just really suffers from a terrible script.
Oh, it's horrible.
Leto's not even bad in it, per se. He's just not... Like, it's not a good movie. Some of the visual effects are interesting, but then not that good.
Yeah.
I liked how they depicted how vampires see the world, how they see it with, like, the colors and all that stuff. But then it wasn't clear if, like, the people see those colors too.
Yeah.
So, they also played it exceptionally safe, where it should have been an R-rated movie. It should have been violent. It should have been Blade, but from a bad vampire's point of view.
Yeah.
They could have done a lot more with the dual personality of, am I a monster? Am I a man? At what cost? Blah, blah, blah. Jekyll, Hyde, that type of thing. Hulk, like a Hulk style, where it's like, I have this monster inside of me, but maybe I could use him for good. Like that sort of thing. They could have done it. They chose not to. Mm-hmm. So, Morbius is going to be my worst of the year.
Paul, thank you, Paul.
You're welcome.
Jeez, I almost said Paul.
You're welcome, Sean, Ronnie, Phil, George.
Sean, what about you?
I do agree with Paul that Morbius was probably the worst movie of the year, but I'm going to go a different angle, and I'll go biggest disappointment, and that's Thor: Love and Thunder. I was so looking forward to this movie because, as I'm sure viewers have heard us say, I think Thor Ragnarok is up there with Captain America: Winter Soldier as probably one of the best, just best films of the Marvel cinematic universe, and obviously up there is probably the best sequels to any of the Marvel movies. And Taika Waititi just brought this new feeling to the franchise, because Thor had always been just kind of this boring storyline. Thor: Dark World, I mean, I couldn't even watch that movie during COVID lockdown. That's how bad it is. Like, I purposely tried to watch every single Marvel movie in a row. Yeah, just couldn't do it.
I will argue, though, that Thor: The Dark World has one of my favorite laugh out loud moments at the very end during the final battle, where Darcy and the intern get transported there and they're like making out. And they're like, Darcy, Jane, Eric, Svelving. And then Mjolnir goes flying by and Kat Dennings goes, mew mew. They just all are this. It always makes me laugh. I don't know what it is. That and Kat Dennings. Whew.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Love me some Kat Dennings.
Interesting.
Anyway.
So I was looking very much forward to Thor: Love and Thunder, and after watching the movie, I was just so disappointed because he didn't do anything different from Ragnarok. It basically, to me, felt like a Ragnarok copy. Yeah, he tried to just redo things he did. So instead of the Immigrant Song, it was Van Halen, and I'm like, okay, I get it. But the thing that annoyed me the most was they made Thor just so stupid.
Right.
Yeah.
They just turned this guy into a dumbass, and it just bothered me.
It started in Endgame, right? It
started with the Big Lebowski, I mean, it was kind of like you were making him a joke, and
he had one of the coolest badassest moments in Infinity War with the bringing down. Like, and Infinity War, I always thought found the perfect balance of Thor. Like, he's still like, he's still like goofy and like, all that stuff. We got to go to Neverdelir. That word sounds made up. All words are made up. Like that. But then like he's having a conversation with Rocket about how much he's lost over the past couple of years. They found that balance.
Yeah.
And then they started off Endgame with a really interesting concept, but they turned post-traumatic stress into a joke. And then in Love and Thunder, they turned cancer into a joke.
Yeah.
Like on paper, Love and Thunder had everything you wanted.
The whole Jane storyline of Thor: Love and Thunder, I thought was absolutely horrible. Like there was just no point to bringing her back. It just felt so mishandled, and I'm to the point where like Lucasfilm is just like telling Taika Waititi, "Yeah, no, we're good. We don't want you to do a Star Wars movie now."
Yeah.
When like a couple months ago when they announced that, we're all like, "Oh, that's awesome."
Yeah.
Now it's like, but I still think he's a very good filmmaker. I just think. I don't know what went wrong in that movie. I don't know if he just wasn't that...
I think he had too much creative control. Way too much. Because, like, you look at Ragnarok, Thor was still written as Thor for the most part. Yeah, he has his funnier moments. And, like, you get to see some of that jokier side of him. But, in all honesty, like, he was still, like, the warrior Thor. Now we got this Thor that's like, well, I'm searching for meaning. What? Wait, what?
Yeah.
Where did this come from? Like, we could have had a lot... Again, everything... This movie had everything going for it.
Yeah.
Taika Waititi was coming back. You had the Guardians in the first scene. You had, Jane Foster coming back as Mighty Thor. Like, we were all excited. You had Christian Bale as Gore the God Butcher.
You're right. Forgot about Christian Bale.
Yeah.
Russell Crowe, who...
I thought it was really funny as Zeus.
It was funny, but it was just stupid.
It wasn't necessary.
Yeah. In all honesty, if they had just done a movie about something killing all the gods, I would have watched it.
Oh, yeah.
Some of the best scenes were how terrifying Gore was. And I think we said it in our review that, like, Gore was, like, interesting because he was scary at times.
Yeah. He was like the best thing to come from that movie.
Well, anytime you get Christian Bale, you're going to get a fantastic performance. Whether it's a stupidly jokey performance or just an Oscar-worthy performance, you know he's going to just give it his all.
And also for Thor, in all honesty, he's the character that you can go bigger with where it makes sense, right? Like, one of our earliest gripes in the Avengers universe is, why didn't they just call Iron Man? Why didn't they just...
Yeah.
Thor can fight those battles. That's like, well, we can't call Captain America. We can't call Iron Man. Like, we're in space fighting Eternals or fighting gods.
Yeah.
They had so much... Like, and then there was zero stakes to it with the exception of Jane dying.
Which didn't
Spoiler,
like,
sorry.
It didn't even feel like that was that. It was just so...
It was forced.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And now he's got a little kid and his hammer back. So all this character development, all of it, don't need it.
Nope.
I mean, we even said that when he got Stormbreaker, though. Like, he just learned that he was super powerful and that, you don't need the feather to fly, Dumbo. You had it in you all along.
Like, I mean, you could even say that at the end of Ragnarok, where Anthony Hopkins is like, "Are you Thor, God of Hammer?
Yeah.
Oh, you're God of Thunder."
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I know Thor has never been the brightest bulb in the room, but it became just a joke.
Well, even like you watched Dark World, I know you had trouble watching it, but like his first entrance scene, like everybody's like, "Oh my God, Thor's here! Thank God!" Like he's like their protector. Yeah. I've been reading more Norse mythology because nerd, but like Thor was like their weapon, their hero, their person that like protected the gods.
The more I thought about the him talking to the kid, that was painful to watch.
Mm.
It just was so stupid.
Yeah.
I'm just like, there was nothing about that movie that I'm going to go back and be like, I need to watch this again.
Or even better, when he gives all the kids their the power of Thor. That would have been super helpful during the Endgame fight.
Yeah, right? Just a little bit.
Oh my God. They should have done... I would have watched Thor the Space Viking, in all honesty, of him just traveling around, just getting into shenanigans. It's all I needed, but...
All right, so one of mine worst from this past year was She-Hulk.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You're one of the few. I feel like everybody I heard liked it.
No.
Okay.
It's a toss-up between that and Miss Marvel as to which TV show was the worst. It just, to me, if you listen to our episode review on this, obviously I'm not a big fan. There was just so much, in my eyes, so much wrong with it. The fact that she looks like Fiona from Shrek, half the time. The CGI was off. Storyline didn't make sense to me. Writing was bad. The comedy in it seemed forced. So did the fourth wall breaks. I like a fourth wall break. We all know I'm a big Deadpool fan.
Weird.
So we all know I like the fourth wall break. And sometimes it hit, and then sometimes it was just forced. Like, just to compare it with Deadpool, like, it comes natural. It seems natural with him. But in She-Hulk, it was like every chance she had, she was trying to do a fourth wall break. And it just doesn't work that way.
I think it was just too much at the end when she literally crawls out of Disney Plus.
Yes.
That was where my line was drawn with that.
And then, again, just to me, a good show needs to have a strong opening, pretty strong middle, and then finish strong. And this show, to me, in my eyes, just that last episode, the finale, just was not strong, was not good at all. So to me, She-Hulk is one of the worst things to come out from the superhero genre this year.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Like I had moments of it that I enjoyed, and that like the Daredevil stuff was I actually enjoyed the courtroom drama scenes way more.
Yeah.
I like the supporting cast.
Yes.
They all get the bootleg Avengers or Avengers. But the supporting cast I thought was solid. I liked the idea of, we've talked about it I think we did an episode called Why Superpowers Would Suck in Real Life. Mm-hmm. And it was basically like, how would the real world interact with superpower beings? And that was what it was. And I thought it was a step in the right direction. But again, Marvel can't take itself seriously anymore. Yeah. And to their defense, they have a formula that has worked up until now. But now we're hitting that fatigue point. Because let's not forget, like, they tried to go darker on some of these things. Yeah. That's why Winter Soldier is still one of the best Marvel movies, because they found a balance.
Yes.
There was moments of humor in it, but for the most part, it was a very serious movie. Then they failed miserably with Thor: The Dark World. Because they went too serious. So... Yeah. They got to find a little bit more balance in their material, especially with Daredevil coming out. Like Charlie Cox already said, it's going to be less gory, and everybody's like,
yeah, it's not supposed to be.
Which I just don't understand.
Yeah. Even like Kingpin and Hawkeye, they made him a little bit cartoony.
Yeah.
Like he's like getting hit by cars, and he's like, I'm fine, don't worry.
Yeah.
When I was a boy. Like
back in my day.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Well, I get why She-Hulk's on your list for that. It's not on mine, for worse, because I did enjoy it for the most part. And, obviously... It had moments that I cringed and I rolled my eyes, but I thought it was a...
You weren't a fan of the twerking?
No. Wow. Wow, was that rough.
Yeah.
For a show of but I get it. Like, I get the empowerment type thing, blah, 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 but, like, it's cringy. And the fact that it, like, it was the post-credit scene of that episode.
Yeah.
And people remember that more than they remember the episode.
Yeah. So, let's move on to a brighter note. Sean, why don't you hit us with one of your favorite or one of the best things to come out this year?
I'm going to go with Werewolf by Night.
Solid.
Yes.
Which was a Disney Plus special back at Halloween. I knew absolutely nothing of this property. Mm-hmm. Nothing about it. All I was hearing was from Paul and you that, this is, it's going to be black and white. It's very based off of the old Universal monster movies. And right there, you got me.
Yep.
So, I remember one night I popped it on. It's one episode, if you even call it, and it was like half hour, 40 minutes at most.
Something like that, yeah.
Just very well. The cinematography is beautiful. Old fashioned, black and white. I enjoyed it very much, and I hope they either do another one next Halloween, or if they want to introduce the character into the movies. I kind of don't want them to. I kind of just, you know what? Just how about you just give us one of these episodes like every once in a while?
It doesn't have to be part of their bigger scheme.
No, and sometimes the best stuff is when there's not much of it. Yeah, like, don't drag it out to the point where I'm not going to like it.
It could be like detached from like the MCU, but also like slightly connected with like little.
I don't want
little hints.
I don't want any stupid cameos.
Yeah,
I don't want that.
You want hints as how it kind of relates this way in the future if you need to use the property.
Yeah, well, they use Dracula's in it. He's one of the heads mounted on the wall.
Yeah, and it was very Underworld. Like if you're an Underworld fan, I highly recommend it. But it was different. And it was good to see. Yeah. And I say it was smart of them to do it as a special. Yeah. Because they could have easily made that a movie.
Or a TV series.
Or a TV series.
Yep.
But would it have shocked you if Marvel announced that we're making a movie of Werewolf by Night, and everybody would have been like, oh, we don't know what that is. Okay, well, I didn't know what Guardians was. Yeah. I barely knew Iron Man. So, like, I would have been like, okay, I'll see it. Are you going to make it R? What were you going to do? Yeah.
So, I think they got away with a lot.
They did get it for Disney Plus. They got away with a good amount. Yeah. But I thoroughly enjoyed that, and very much look forward to them doing more with that character, or hopefully We'll see. They haven't announced anything yet, but
yeah, I think if they had done like a Blade cameo at the end or something like that,
I was kind of expecting.
I was, but
something.
I feel like it would have made it a joke. Like, I'm tired of joke cameos. Like,
well, that's the thing. It's like I didn't want something to be like, oh, okay,
just throw
it in there. I wanted something to mean and something.
Because I could see like him walking through the castle. And like, or like showing up like, did I miss the slaying party? Like, oh, stop.
Yeah.
No, that's cringy. But like, if he's just walking through the castle and it's just carnage around him and he just kind of looks around and he's like, well, I'm hunting this next. Or like he says something along those lines. I would love to see it. Yes, he's a vampire hunter, but I'd love to see him interact with other supernatural beings.
Creatures, yeah.
That'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah. All right, Paul, what you got for us?
Well, let me ask you, Ronnie, do you really want to taste it?
You know I want to taste it.
Peacemaker. Oh my God. I forgot that this show came out like in 2022.
Yeah.
Because Peacemaker, I know the thoughts of the Suicide Squad around this table are mixed. I know Sean did not care for it. I know Ronnie only cared about Margot Robbie. And
who doesn't?
That's fair. You're gonna be first in line to go see Barbie. We're all gonna be going to see. We're gonna like be watching Oppenheimer, and then there's Ronnie.
I kind of want to see the Barbie movie too, because just from that trailer, I'm just like, all right, this just looks like it's gonna be fun.
I got invited to the preview show.
The premiere. It's gonna be on our website. The review. But
he's a Barbie girl. Yeah, in a Barbie world.
Oh God, stop! I hate
Life is
that
plastic.
song. Stop! No, seriously,
It's fantastic.
My high school job, they played that song all the time, and oh my God!
Come on, Paul, let's go party.
I'm gonna punch you in the face.
Yeah.
You know I edit this. Just throwing that out there. But anywho, so Peacemaker came out, and we weren't sure what to expect because obviously James Gunn was directly involved. He was writing it, directing it. I think he directed a couple of the episodes.
Yeah.
But just like how Tim Burton directed a couple of the Wednesday episodes. Yeah. So obviously there's a lot of passion behind it, a lot of star power. John Cena's coming back. They bring back some of the supporting cast from the Suicide Squad. And it had no right to be as good as it was. Yeah. We loved it. And the thing that we loved the most about it was still very rated R.
Yes.
It did not hold back on certain things. It attacked race, it attacked sexuality, it attacked like all sorts of things, like in good ways. Like it wasn't afraid to address real topics in a real way. Because sometimes you watch some of these like Supergirl lost me towards the end because it was way too like heavy-handed is a weird word because it was also like, oh no, these aliens deserve to live a happy life. Okay, we get it. We understand. Your undertones are very on top.
Yeah.
Like they're on top tones.
They're not undertones.
They're not undertones. They're there, and it's a little much. But Peacemaker, because they didn't hold back in any capacity, I feel like it was just more like, oh wow, mm-hmm. And it made it. I don't want to say easier to digest, but it was like, well, this is how the real world is sometimes, unfortunately. Like, but. We would wait till every week we watched that episode, the episodes, Mel and I, and we loved it. The opening scene, the opening credits alone, we never skipped them. Always watched Do You Want to Taste It by Wigwam and all that. So for me, Peacemaker is a huge highlight of the year.
All right. For me, I'm going to stick with another TV with Disney Plus, and I'm going to go with The Falcon and Winter Soldier.
That was this year?
That was 2022?
That was, wasn't it?
No. That was
Are you sure? Holy smokes. Do I not know years anymore?
I don't think you do.
This is what happens when you get old?
That's like...
that was 2021.
Yeah, that's right. Oh my God. Yeah, because why am I... You know, I was thinking of... No, Hawkeye was last year, and for some reason I was thinking it came after Hawkeye. You're completely right.
You should probably talk into the microphone.
You know what? Good thing I'm not, because I was completely wrong.
But you can still like Falcon.
That show is still really good.
Let's just establish how little good things there were this year that he's thinking of something from 2021.
Yeah, right?
Fair, actually.
You know, that's so true because, like, everything else I feel like is, like, middle of the road. Like, I guess... All right, so if I'm not thinking...
Sugar Platter.
Sugar Platter iced tea.
All right, what if I go... You know what? Let me go with Black Adam.
Okay.
As a plus?
As a plus.
All
I
think
think Black Adam was one of the best.
She might be the only one.
Oh, I'm with him.
I think it was one of the best. I think out of the year we had...
Not saying much about the year, but just...
But you know what I mean? Like,
no, I know.
Of the year, like, if you rank the movies that came out, this has to be in the top 3 or whatever.
Yeah.
Based off of what movies we've had. So, to me, that's why Black Adam was up there. I think, yes, you had The Rock being The Rock, but to a smaller extent. Like, he wasn't the goofy Rock that we really see. He was he played more of like a serious role in it.
Yeah, I agree.
He smiled twice.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So I think, and then obviously the introduction to a new character is really good. The only downfall to this movie is Henry Cavill.
I don't want to talk about it.
Well, they're not doing another Black Adam movie now, I don't think either.
No. So like,
one and done, folks. One and done.
It took him almost 20 years to make this movie.
Yeah.
Like, The Rock has been working
I don't
on
think he's going to suffer that much, guys.
I know, but like, what a slap in the face afterwards.
And it was successful too.
Not as successful as they were hoping.
No, but successful enough where
It made its
should
money
be
back
getting,
plus a little extra, but it didn't break any
No,
records.
it should be. To me, it should be getting.
I agree with you. I think it was a better movie, in my opinion, than Thor: Love and Thunder.
Yeah.
If it's on TV, whenever it does come to TV or streaming, maybe I'll give it a shot.
It's on HBO Max.
It's already on HBO
It's
Max?
already on HBO Max.
Wow.
Yeah. So to me, it's one of the bright spots that we had in superhero entertainment this year.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a lot of stuff just was like middle of the road or below. This one, for me personally, it wasn't like a great movie or anything like that, like the Batman was, but it was, like I said, to me, it was
it's
probably
a popcorn flick.
Yeah, it was probably the second best movie we had out there all year. So when it comes to superhero movies, so that's crazy. To me, Black Adam is one of the highlights from this year.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, so let's go back to the worst side. All right. Sean, you want to go first with this one?
Sure. I can't remember how we talked about this movie after we saw it in theaters, but the more I'm thinking about it, I was a bit disappointed in Doctor Strange: Multiverse of Madness. Sorry.
I think you took everyone's.
This is another movie that I was extremely excited for. I mean, it was Doctor Strange getting his first solo movie since his first one. It was Sam Raimi returning to comic book movies, and this is why, and I'm not pointing the fingers at you guys, but this is why comic book fans are annoying to me. They couldn't wait to get Sam Raimi out of the director's chair for the Spider-Man films. And now everybody was like, oh my god, Sam Raimi's coming back, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh my god, Tobey Maguire's back. Oh my god, I can't wait.
Why are you yelling?
No, I'm sorry.
You're being a little ridiculous.
Not really at all.
Well, actually, what we said at the end of Spider-Man 3 was...
But I was very much looking forward to this. Obviously, it was the follow-up for the Wanda after WandaVision. And Elizabeth Olsen is the highlight of this movie.
1,000%.
Absolute highlight of this movie. I mean, she was fantastic. There are some great scenes in terms of the way Sam Raimi shot him. I personally just don't think Doctor Strange is a character that really deserves his own movies. I think he's good as a side character. Mm-hmm. He was great in the Spider-Man films. He was good in Infinity War. That's really it. And I love Benedict Cumberbatch. I think he's fantastic, but I just didn't do it for me enough as a movie. I thought it was underwhelming. I thought the ending was kind of like, eh. Even the cameos were kind of disappointing. I thought that movie was going to be like Spider-Man, where it's like, oh my god, we're going to see. Who are we going to see? We're going to see every different person who's played a Marvel character in this movie.
Yeah.
And everybody freaked out when we got John Krasinski as
Reed Richards.
As Reed Richards, which was cool, but I thought that was a placate to the fans. I don't think we're actually going to get that.
We're never going to get him.
We're not getting that.
That was it.
That was it. I think it was funny. The more I think about that was a Marvel going like, all right, you guys want this? Here it is. This is all you're getting.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was still a good movie. Mm-hmm. I will gladly watch it again, but it didn't blow me away. Blow me away. But better than Thor: Love and Thunder. Yeah, I will say that.
So I'm torn on that statement, right? Because I love Chris Hemsworth and I love Thor, and Thor: Love and Thunder has a lot of great moments. Like when they go to Gore's planet and it's all different color palettes and all that, I thought that was really interesting. It has the screaming goats, as annoying as they got. We still always laughed when they did anything, but I think I set my bar too high for Doctor Strange, and that's my own fault, right? Yeah. I was expecting an actual multiversal adventure, like them traveling from world to world.
Yeah.
We saw 4 worlds. Yeah. We saw, like, in the opening credits, we see the one with the superhero Strange, or whatever they decided to call him.
Yeah.
See the main world, and then we see the one where, oh no, I guess really we just see 3 worlds. The one where they go to...
They have, like, the Sorcerer Supreme one.
No, the one where the Illuminati is. There's only 3 worlds. Like, there's one scene where they see them going through all these different worlds, and it's the coolest scene in the entire movie.
Yeah.
Like, there's one where they're just paint.
Yeah.
I was like, that shouldn't work, but it did.
Yeah.
One where they're like black and white cartoons. Like, I was like, this is the kind of thing we wanted to see.
Yeah.
They ended up going to a world that wasn't very different than ours.
Yeah.
Like, and yeah, the Illuminati seems very cool, but they're also leaning so hard into this X-Men stuff, and not in the way I think they should be, because they're attacking it nostalgia based, right? Like when Miss Marvel, they're like, it might be a mutation. You hear, I was like, no, I get it. It's one of the most iconic theme songs of the '90s. However, let's do our own thing with the X-Men, please.
It's kind of very Superman Returns-y. Like, instead of doing a whole new Superman, you had to leap onto the Richard Donner.
Yeah, or putting the John Williams theme in all the Superman stuff that they've done, like Justice League and even Black Adam. They played, I think there's nothing wrong with honoring the past, and I think Multiverse of Madness was a good time to do it because they had that opportunity. But I'm ready to move on. I'm ready to get my new iteration of the X-Men. I'm ready. Apparently, they're saying that in the new Captain America movie with Falcon, that the island that was created at the end of Eternals by the Celestial that kind of froze turned into adamantium, and that's what everybody's trying to get it because it's just as powerful as vibrate. That's the rumor.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay, that's a great way for them to kind of play around. They're also saying quantum mania might lead to X-Men, just like some sort of explosion from the quantum realm. But also there was a newspaper headline in I think She-Hulk where it was a man in a bar with knives coming out of his hands or something like that. So,
and of course now you're getting Deadpool 3 with but that's not going to have any.
No, who knows? But so another one of my worst, which was just mentioned,
was it 2022?
It was.
Okay.
It was
Miss Marvel.
this past year, Miss Marvel.
Yeah.
Man, you're just hating on the TV.
You know what? Because I know you guys are thinking movies, so I'm going TV route.
That's why. It's a good host right there.
Yeah.
It's a good host right there.
Thank you, sir. So I'm going to go with Miss Marvel. I think they could have done so much more with it, and so much more with having Captain Marvel be kind of linked into it to set up the Marvels. That's coming later this year.
Yeah, 2023.
Right? You know, I think there just could have been so much more with the connection of the MCU because we know that it's connected with them, but it really wasn't other than the last episode.
I will rebuttal you on that.
Yeah?
Oh, no, not a rebuttal.
And the first episode when she goes to the Comic-Con thing?
I will. I'm going to bring up the Comic-Con thing. I'm also going to bring up, like, it's weird because now, between this and Black Adam, where it's like superhero posters all over the walls and stuff like that, I think, if anything, I'm split on Miss Marvel. Yeah. I like some of it. I don't like some of it. Like, it's right. It's a solid 2.5 out of 5 for me. I think that's even when I rated it. But for me, I think my bigger issues were just the depiction of her powers, in all honesty. And then she ends up fighting another person with the same powers. And, you know, there's a secret society. And, like, how many secret societies does Marvel have?
I don't know. It's a secret. We don't know.
Oh, my God. Everybody knows about them, though.
That's the whole point of secret societies. You don't know they exist.
Hydra and S.H.I.E.L.D. both had logos on everything. But for me, like Miss Marvel, I thought they did a better job at kind of being like, hey, we're in this Marvel universe. This is how people are in this Marvel universe. It's very different. But I get what you're saying. So I just wanted to mildly rebut you.
No, I don't accept it at all.
It's a mild rebut.
Do you accept rebuttals?
Yeah, I guess you could, right?
Okay. Can you rebut a rebuttal?
Yeah, why not?
So
let's call it a discussion.
A discussion. Well done. Well played. We don't do that.
But yeah, so it's just one of my worst from this year because it's a show that I'm never gonna watch again. You know, so to me, if there's something out there that I will never watch again, it's got to be bad. You know, or subpar at least. And most of the things that came out this year, I could throw on again. But to me, this, honestly, all the Disney Plus shows this year were subpar.
So we're not watching Moon Knight anytime soon?
No.
Oh.
Yeah.
You want to do one more good one then to end on a happy note?
What about you?
Well, I mean, I was going to say actually Moon Knight.
Moon Knight was one of the worst for you?
But not even one of the worst. It was just, I wanted more from it. I thought some of it was so good, and then other parts just fell really flat for me. But like I did enjoy Moon Knight, so I put it more towards the negative side, I guess, because I expected a little bit more from it.
All right. So we'll finish off this episode
with something good.
Right? So you want to go first there?
I'll go first.
You look like you want to say something.
Sandman. The Sandman on Netflix was one of the best comic book shows of all time. It was what Watchmen should have been years ago. It was just such a great watch. It was deep. It was philosophical. It was the side of DC that we don't get to very often see. Even like I loved Lucifer. Like Mel and I watched the entire show. It was the actual source from all that. So I thoroughly enjoyed Sandman, and I hope they get a second season.
Okay. Sean?
I don't know. I'm trying to think of something else that I actually enjoyed this year that's comic book related.
Is it bad nobody's mentioned Black Panther yet?
Haven't seen it.
To me, Black Panther's middle of the road. That's why, to me, it's not in my best. So you don't have another
good one?
Another good one?
Nothing's jumping out at me. Like I'm pulling a U. I was about to say Hawkeye. And I'm like, nope, that was 2021.
League of Super Pets.
All right. So if you need time to think, I got one.
There you go.
Which I'm actually surprised that Paul did not say, which was season 3 of The Boys.
Oh yeah, I was trying to think of new stuff. Like I tried to stay away from it because I could have mentioned like Titans and stuff like that too.
Season 3 of The Boys is new.
You know what I mean. Stop it. Cut it out.
To me, I think season 3 might have been one of the best seasons from The Boys that we've
had.
had.
Freddie told me everybody's fly.
We had the introduction of Jensen Ackles into The Boys as well, and just the story that they're going with and the storyline in season 3 was great, and the little like cliffhanger we have at the end with what's the son's name?
Oh, kid.
Yeah.
Ryan.
Kid. Yes. You know, that little like kind of cliffhanger we get with him and that evil little smirk at the end too. I think by far season 3 of The Boys was the best thing that happened this year for superhero properties.
I can concur with that, sir.
Did you think of anything over there, Sean?
No, there's nothing honestly I can think of. I didn't watch much of the shows.
Yeah.
I didn't watch She-Hulk. I didn't watch Miss Marvel.
You didn't miss out on that much anyways.
And like Black Adam, I thought was middle of the road as a movie. I mean the Batman. I mean, we talked about it earlier. That was to me the standard that it was. What, back in March that movie came out?
Sean like Wednesday.
Yeah.
I did like Wednesday, but that's not comic book.
Yeah.
I know, but I was just trying to help you out, buddy.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah. So that's pretty much going to wrap us up for this episode. Next week, when we air our episode, we're going to be kind of talking about things that we are looking forward to for this year for comic book and superhero properties. What? 2023.
So
we're going to be looking at things that we're excited to see in 2023.
Gotcha.
Yeah, you got it now. Yeah.
You gotta keep me on my toes, Ron. You gotta keep me on my toes.
Of course I do. All right. So again, that's going to wrap us up. Don't forget, you can check us out on Stitcher, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Podbean, anywhere you get your podcast or music from. You can also check out the website, themisfitfaction.com, where we have our merchandise, articles, podcast links, all that good stuff. But this has been a blast, gentlemen. We should do it again sometime.
Talk about crappy comic book movies anytime, guys. Seems to happen more often than not.
Next episode, Steel.
Wait, he said crappy.
Followed by Howard the Duck and Push.
Super Mario Brothers.
That's not a comic book movie.
It's a game.
Close enough.
Video game.
Yeah, right? But again, that's going to wrap us up for the evening. I'm Ronnie.
I'm Paul.
I'm Sean.
And we'll be back in a flash.
See ya. Nailed it.